Hello, everyone. My name is Michelle Crode, and I'm here with Fort Worth HR. I'm here with Dan Dalton, and he is going to be talking a little bit about his experience today in HR. And so I'm going to go ahead and let him introduce himself.
Greetings, everybody. I'm Dan Dalton, and I am the Human Resource Operations Director for Texas Oncology. We're a large medical practice in the pursuit of treatment of cancer treatments for our patients. We're located throughout the state of Texas. Counting our physicians, we've got close to 5,700 employees throughout the state of Texas. We're basically have about 125 locations where we're basically trying to eradicate cancer from the state of Texas.
Awesome. It sounds like very fulfilling work. So
Indeed.
we're going to go ahead and get to some questions that I have about your background as well as some advice you might have for HR professionals.
Okay.
So first, can you tell me how and where did you get your start in HR?
Well, at the time I started my HR career, I was working for Texas Commerce Bank as a consumer lender. And one of the extra duties that I had was to occasionally facilitate parts of meetings where things needed to be taught, either a new process, procedure, or product. And it was my responsibility to create the presentation and to teach my fellow lenders about the change. And that kind of caught the eye of the learning and development manager. And I got an opportunity to facilitate training classes for members of the staff of the branches of Texas Commerce Bank, which led to an offer to become a trainer full time. So I got an opportunity to leave the lender role and join the HR team as a corporate trainer for Texas Commerce Bank. And that really kind of pulled back the curtain of what human resources was all about. I was working directly with the recruiters because my job was basically to teach and train the brand new hires for Texas Commerce Bank on policy, process, and procedure. And once I got to learn exactly what the recruiters and the generalists did, I really got intrigued. So started to look for opportunities to join the HR team full-time away from training and actually become a generalist. That led me to graduate school where I studied human resource management at the University of Texas at Arlington. And once I graduated from there, I actually got a job as a recruiter for Texas Commerce Bank and entered into a leadership training program with what was then now JP Morgan Chase Bank of Texas, and spent 15 months on a rotational training program where they rolled me through a recruitment, employee relations, generalist, compensation and benefits, you name it. They ran me through different aspects of human resources. And once I graduated there, I actually became a full-time generalist for Chase Bank of Texas. And then lost that job through a downsizing, and that led me into other human resource opportunities that ultimately got me into healthcare and led me to where I am now.
Okay, awesome. So now it seems like you've had a very diverse amount of experience across the HR function. So can you tell me, what do you find most challenging about our field?
I think that probably the most challenging part is just the unpredictability of it, and people are unpredictable. I've learned really early on in the human resource field that your day can be planned down to the minute, but your first phone call in human resources can mess up that schedule really, really quickly. So it's that unpredictability, that not certain what the next call will bring, the adventure of what the next email might bring is one of the things that I've really grown to enjoy and to be intrigued by in the human resources field. Um, I really enjoy the investigation of employee relations things, the thrill of the hunt for the truth. Whenever I've got a case that I'm really looking into to find out what happened, or who said what and what actually transpired between employees. I mean, there's an old saying that I heard a long time ago. There's when two or more people are gathered together to work, there's going to be conflict, and conflict will definitely bring out the worst in employees, especially if that conflict is in the workplace. And really being able to do that investigation to find out exactly what happened so that I can guide leadership or guide an employee on what best to do and how best to respond. So that's what I find challenging, is just the unpredictability and then the hunt for the best solution to whatever situation has crossed my desk.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm sure you're finding, especially right now, you're going to have to be flexible and agile when certain situations come up. So, can you tell me, how do you stay on top of trends and changes in HR?
Well, I think that if the last few months with the pandemic has taught us anything, is that we've got to stay nimble and we've got to keep looking for those resources that can keep us informed. I used to say that a lot of things in human resources are written in pencil so they can be changed pretty much, but of late, especially when we've been talking about the COVID-19 guidelines and recommendations, I've kind of coined the phrase that no, these policies are written in smoke signals, because they're going to actually change that quickly. But looking for trusted resources to make sure that there is some good, solid guidance on what is most relevant and most up to date. So reading of particular articles from SHRM, I depend heavily on the Fort Worth HR chapter, the speakers that they bring in, the newsletter topics, and just keeping up with my colleagues, learning what they've experienced and some decisions that they've made. I don't know how many times I've sent out an email to say, hey, has anybody had experienced this, or does anyone have a policy on that? And just really multiple sources of information and experience.
All right, absolutely. So, can you tell me what advice you would give those wanting to break into the HR profession?
Yeah, that was a real intriguing question when I saw it on the list. And it took me back a few years ago when I had the opportunity to speak at the career day at Tarrant County College. And there was a panel of about 6 of us from different industries that were working there at the college on this career day. And somebody from the crowd, one of the students said, tell us how you got into human resources. And all of us on the panel were about the same age, and we all kind of looked at each other and realized that none of us had started our career looking to go into human resources. So we basically responded by saying, none of us knows how we got here. When I was doing my undergraduate work, this was not a course of study. This was a clerical position called personnel, and it basically, just the technical things of getting hired and fired and making sure your paycheck and your benefits worked. And that was about it. HR didn't have a seat at the table to be strategic about the people that we were bringing in. But since that time, the whole course of study of human resources and the body of knowledge that things like the SHRM chapters promote have given us more of a science to learn. So my recommendation for somebody wanting to break in is learn the body of knowledge, learn the laws and the precepts of employee relations and recruitment and labor relations and all of the things that have to do with building the strategy of what a company uses to not only find but maintain their employees. And then another thing I would recommend is to talk to people who are in the business, talk to people that have spent time in human resources. Because one thing I've really learned in preparing and actually teaching the class for the SHRM certification exam is that the body of knowledge is really good, but nothing in real life fits directly into that black and white body of knowledge structure. So learning how people have interpreted the experiential parts of human resources and how they develop their judgment about things is crucial. And then don't discount sciences that may not necessarily fit your preconceived notion of what human resources is. So, really understanding psychology and sociology, those are the kinds of things that will impact human behavior in the workplace. And taking opportunities to learn a little bit about those subject matters, Organizational development is another thing. Just how does an organization evolve and develop itself, just like people do? So just that well-rounded body of head knowledge that will help you give context to what you're experiencing as a human resource professional. And then never, ever, ever stop talking to people, and just a 360-degree array of relationships that you will need to take care of as a human resources. Those people that that you work for, those people you work with, and if you ultimately become a manager, be real attentive to those relationships with those people that report to you, because what you're experiencing as an employee is what other employees are going to be experiencing. You shouldn't discount that for what you've experienced as an employee as something that you could use to guide a manager, to guide another employee as a human resource professional.
All right. Thanks for the great advice, Dan. We hope that you found this series of A Journey with HR Professionals helpful and hope to see you at future events. Thanks so much.
Thank you for having me. I look forward to seeing everybody one of these days too.
All right.